There are 4 big mistakes almost every beginner violinist makes, but they just don't know it and sounds bad because of it. After playing the violin for 30 years and teaching hundreds of students, I saw these mistakes show up in beginners all the time. But today, I'm gonna break them down step by step and show you what you should do instead, so you can sound like a pro today. And mistake number 1 is not playing by ear. Violin is all about how it sounds when you play. And when you are not listening actively the whole time, it's like if you were trying to paint something with closed eyes. That's exactly the same things. It could maybe look interesting, but it will not be very accurate. What I see a lot is a lot of beginners will focus the whole time on their fingers, watching the whole time the finger. And they are not listening at all, so that sometimes it sounds really bad. But they are looking at the finger, they don't realize that it's sounding bad. The same with the bow, where you look the whole time at the bow like it should be here 100%, but actually if I don't play it the right way, here it could sound very bad. Or here it could sound very bad too. It's not about where it looks like, it's about how it sounds. Because the violin, it's not all intonation. It's not even all intonation plus bow sound. There is the rhythm, the musicality, the tempo. There is a lot of different aspects. And most of them, we can't see them, actually. The only way to control every one of them is by listening. To fix intonation issues with the left hand, the worst mistake is to use stickers on the fingerboard to show exactly where the finger should go. The same when students focus too much on reading the music sheet. They don't notice what they are doing, or looking at a tuning device for the intonation. That's all methods that are very bad. When you use one of those, what's happening is that instead of listening, you are looking. And because of that, you don't see what's happening. So here, what you should do instead, close your eyes and practice by heart. You will directly see a huge improvement because at once, you will be forced to use your hearing to perceive what you are doing. What you want to do is to listen, for example, to a recording of your exercise or pieces, close your eyes, listen to it, and then try to imitate it. That's the best way to train your ear. For the bow, if you are having difficulties having a beautiful sound, the best way is not to look at your bow. The best way is really just try to close your eyes, and I know at the beginning it will be very difficult. It's normal. It's very difficult at the beginning. But then you start noticing what's happening. Oh, my sound is not very good, so let's try something. Let's put less pressure maybe. Oh, it's really better, but now sometimes there is some strange sound, so let's try to move the contact point maybe and listen to how it affects the sound. Okay, when I play here now. When I play here now. Oh, that's the best? Yeah, okay, I don't need to look at it. I just need to listen and then try to change factors. For the sound, you could adjust the contact point. That's where your bow is in contact with the string between the fingerboard and the bridge. You could put more or less weight on the string. That would be a lot of weight. Or playing very softly. Or you could use more bow or less bow. And by the way, if you're an adult beginner and you want to learn to play the violin beautifully, we are organizing a free violin masterclass. You can register to the free masterclass by clicking the link below this video. Mistake number 2 is not knowing which steps to learn in which order. Most beginners learn very complicated things when the basics are still not there. And because of that, they play things, it doesn't sound good, they don't know how to improve it, and they are not doing any progress. But the reason is just that they don't learn the right step in the right order. Imagine if you wanted to build a multi-story house. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. What most people do on the violin is that they will learn a little bit level 1, but then they go directly to level 3, then level 7, and so on. But if you wanted to build your multi-story house, will you start with level 3 or will you start with level 1? And actually, you will not even start with level 1. You will start with building very strong foundation so that later on you could build multiple levels on top of it. And with violin, that's the exact same thing. First, you need to build the right foundation, so that later on, if you wish, you could go to level 5 or level 10. And level 10, it's not playing like a professional, okay? Level 10 is just, you can play most simple pieces so that they sound beautifully. That's all. That's actually, from what our students told us in the Violinacademy, the goal of most students. And if it's your goal that it sounds beautifully, you definitely need a strong foundation first. Let me show you a little bit more how to do that and which steps you should learn in which order. And I will take as example the curriculum I developed for the Violinacademy, the Violin Pyramid Method. For us, the goal for our students is always to first master the bow. That means that on open strings, you should see that you have a beautiful sound without using the left hand, just playing open strings. You will achieve that by having the right bow posture, on ensuring that you are adjusting your contact point, the bow speed like we saw, but at the same time keeping your bow straight. That means parallel to the bridge, making sure that everything is really relaxed and free. Then when you can do that, the next step, that will be the left hand. But here the same, you should not start with every single string directly. Focus first on mastering one single string, like the D string, playing only, for example, the first and the second finger on it. When you can play both fingers perfectly every single time, then add the third finger to it. And then when you can play it perfectly too, add the fourth finger to it. Then after you mastered the D string, you go to level 2, and here you should focus on mastering one string after another. First with the G string, and what you want to do is to learn a new finger pattern, like for example this one, with the first and fourth finger close to each other. Then you will play the A string, this time focusing on learning the first finger pattern. Then the E string with the fourth finger pattern. And then when you do that, you could start focusing on string crossing, playing from one string to the next one. Here are some of the best exercises just for that, with the fourth finger. And then you could continue with always more complicated exercises, learning later dynamics, but when you train to play very loudly or playing very softly, learning different bowings, that's mean for example playing multiple notes in one bow. Later on, vibrato, but it will be way later when you master the basics, bass vibrato. Most people learn it way too early, and then last, shifting. Shifting is when you move from one position to the next one, like that. That means that instead of playing in the first position, like it's standard for everything for a beginner, you start playing in a higher position. So mistake number 3 is practicing only pieces. The problem is that when you learn a piece, you are only learning unique combinations, instead of learning the common pattern that will allow you to play any piece. Because the thing is that for every pattern there is a best way to do it. And when you train only this one pattern, instead of playing a piece where it's a lot of unique combination, you really can master it and play it perfectly. And then when you take a piece, it doesn't matter what it is, it works every single time. So let me show you some of the most common patterns. For example, even if you practice only the notes between D open string on the D string, on the D third finger on the A string, that means on one octave, here it will be on D major, but the name, there is a lot of common pattern you can practice. Here, for example, that's a scale. In a scale, you just practice playing every note one after another, up and then down. That's the most common pattern you will find in every single music piece you have. Then the second one that's very common is the scale of third, that you can see here. Here what we do instead is that we go 2 notes up, 1 note down. 2 notes up, 1 note down. and then the same downwards. So we always go 2 notes up, 1 note down, 2 notes up, 1 note down, and then the opposite. And then you have the arpeggio. Now the second one here. Arpeggio are a group of notes that build a musical harmony together, and you will find them everywhere too. Now there is another mistake I see a lot of people do, unfortunately, and that's even when they practice some of those exercises, they start with some exercises that are too difficult. But actually those exercises, exactly the same I just showed you, can be practiced at every level. For example, if we take again the example of our scale. I could do that actually on only one string first. That will sound like this. Then, when I can do that very well, I could do it on 1 octave. That's what we just saw. When I can this one very well, then I could do it on the entire first position. And so on. So now let's see the last and sometimes one of the worst mistakes. Thinking my posture is okay. Most students think, of course I need to have a good posture, but I think it's okay. Although I don't like how it sounds when I play, I don't really like it, but I think my posture is okay. The thing is that if it sounds bad, even when you're playing something easy, so let's say an open string or just simple note like if your sound is not good, if the intonation is not good, that means 100% that your posture is not good. And something to really realize is that the posture is not just like something static, just like, and then at the beginning I need to hold the bow like this, but the finger here, I have perfect posture. Posture, for me, it's even more than that. It's how you move your arm and how you move your fingers. Because in the end, everything you do on the violin, you do it by moving your arms, your fingers, and so on. And when you are doing bad movement, it sounds bad. When you are doing the right movement, it sounds good. As simple as that. So let us see some simple basics. Because even for the bow, it's very rare that I see someone holding the bow the right way. So the first thing is that you want to make sure that you put your thumb here and then your third finger against it here. And very often what I would see is that the finger will be too high here instead of being here. Then the next point is that you want to put your index finger on the bow, but not too far, or it will create a lot of tension. Instead, you want to keep it quite close to your middle finger, only a few millimeters apart. And the contact between your index and your bow should be on this part of the finger, not the last one, not the first one, but the middle one. Then for the ring finger, very often the same, it's too high, it's here, when it should be actually here, on the lower part. And for the small finger, a big mistake is to have it straight and pressed like that. Try to keep it round and relax. The same with the thumb. Relax it and let it rounded. But then when you play, you need to understand that this is not static. This move. If you look at my hand when I'm playing, you will see that my fingers are moving. Okay? It's not static. They need to stay flexible. For the left hand, the most important point that are done wrong most of the time is that the hand is way too open. And because of that, when the student tries to play the forefinger, it's just very difficult, they're too far apart. So what you want to do instead is to turn by rotating the arm in the direction of the string, so that all fingers can really be and stay above the string. And then when you play, you should do that by only moving the finger from the main knuckle here, instead of moving the whole arm or wrist or whatever. But then, one of the biggest mistakes happens by string crossing. My student will do the string crossing by bending the wrist like that. And especially on the E strings, then they will be playing something like that. And then they need to play the G string, and that's too far away. What you want to do instead is adjust your elbow for each string. That will be the G string, the D string, the A string, and the E string. So just don't forget, it's not about being too old or not practicing enough or not being talented. It's all about learning the violin step by step from the very beginning, building very strong foundation. If hundreds of our students did it, I'm sure you could do it too.